What is up, YouTube? My Cowboys family here, bringing you guys the latest update on our very own Dallas Cowboys. And of course, as always, thank you for joining us here tonight. Take a second to hit like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, follow us on all social media at MyCowboysFamily, and hop in the Discord. Link for that's in the description box down below. And guys, someone is already saying hello, hi, knocking on that door, kicking things off, sharing people. The love.
Yeah, a couple of people, but yes, starting off, some Dwayne Broussard love in there, and of course, some gifting love from the great skeptical fan who, 3 months in a row dominating that board. Jason Renfro's got the back-to-back. We'll discuss that in a minute, and much love to everybody in the house repping it here with us at Navy Blue, Silver, and Star. New week here on MCF. A new week for our Dallas Cowboys in training camp. It was a walkthrough today. Not much there, but with a lot of other stuff, obviously, here. Front and center, number 70, Zach Martin. He's back. Some people are eating somewhere else right now.
Come back.
Some are eating elsewhere right now. Maybe in New England. But we'll discuss that and more here as we get this thing going, baby. I will say, Dwayne Broussard with that $2 holler and a Go Cowboys.
Thank you so much for the pre-stream love. Of course, skeptical fan.
Yes. No. I would say second place on the board with that $2 holler. And yes, baby. Then skeptical fan with the 5 gifted memberships. Boom.
Day Williams, Pat Pfeiffer, Big Boss Man, C. Bass, and Tommy Montoya.
Everyone in the books.
Skeptical fan is sharing the love there. Thank you so much. Man, appreciate you, of course.
Number one way to help really show love to the channel and to the family in the chat. Much love. Bow down he's the membership gifting king of all time, right? But this week, it's Jason Renfro back-to-back in that gifting membership, 2 weeks in a row like our 90s Cowboys. So much love to him on that side of things. And Jason Renfro also got that stream boss. Got to give it up to Jason Renfro on that side of things. But when you look at the current leaderboard for the gifting side, baby, it's skeptical fan. He's got 5 and everyone else has 0. So
that's right.
Much love that you guys on that board. Exactly. And since it's a brand new week, who's the new champion as our sponsor of the week and happens to be also our Cash App King. You know who he is. You know why he's here.
Snug X.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Snug. Again, appreciate you. Thank you so much for your support.
Yes, appreciate it, of course. And I think go back to 6 weeks. I think he had 4 out of 6 weeks here for Snug X. Some domination here as we're ramping up through training camp into the season. So much love to Snug X, repping it on both boards. Like I said, the overall leader is Skeptical Fan. The gifting leader is Skeptical Fan right now, kicking off a new week. So Jason Renfro still holding it down with 95 points, now 94 points.
Jennifer Siebert, thank you for summing it up.
Welcome to the family. With that, Jason goes to 94 points on that stream boss. So I think we got everything caught up there. I know we also got to do the shout-outs and that star level membership and above.
That is one of the perks, guys.
Yes, nightly shout-outs. You guys run the show here like Mary Alvarez, Andy Potched, LC, Lincoln came from Australia, Dwayne Broussard, the top dog, pre-stream love. And then, of course, the names you hear all the time here, as well as Dwayne Broussard. You hear Jason, Renfro, and Skeptical Fan. Much love to the star level membership outside on things. And baby, there's this, super chats. There's a thanks button. There's memberships you guys can just jump into. And there's also gifting memberships. Once you're in the membership, whether it's gifted or not, you can then gift memberships to other people here.
Show the love, pass it forward.
But there's 4 other ways you can show love here if you want to get in that Cash App crownage.
Through the Cash App, of course, money sign My Cowboys Family. You have the Venmo at My-Cowboys-Family. The regular PayPal link, and last but not least, of course, the Streamlabs link, which lets your comments show up on screen, just like a super chat.
For some reason, I feel like I left something out, but I think we covered all our bases right now. If we forgot something, we'll go back and visit it later.
I can tell you what we forgot. So, with that said, of course, let me go ahead and do the shout-outs for everybody here.
Let's open it up.
Chilling in the chat, of course.
For the nightly shout-outs, who's in the house ready to discuss some Cowboy news, info, and updates? And Zach Martin, back in Oxnard now, right?
Well, we have Aztec Aguilar 04 in the house. Daniel Berry, much love. El Fuego 2.0 representing. Nate Rosario, hello and hi. James Herr, what's up? Raymond Solis, thanks for coming through. We have Cactus G in the place to be. Of course, Skeptical Fan always staying skeptical.
These are skeptical. His buddy drew these, and we are now become a cartoon form sometimes here on My Cowboy. You never know what's going to happen. Much love, Skeptical, for that as well.
Let me see. We have Eddie Potched here in the house. What's up? Of course, the 5 lucky membership winners are Day Williams, Pat Pfeiffer, Big Boss Man, C. Bass, Tommy Montoya, Scorpio, hello and hi. Dwayne Broussard, the top dog, rolling through. Devontae Alvarez, much love to you. Mackenzie, 2 times, hello and hi. Hope you're doing well. We got Q Ball in the house. Oh, cool. Hello, what's up? Let me see. I think... Oh, Thomas Garrett, the superior Garrett. Can't forget you, of course. I think Freedom First. Did he make his way in here? Yes, he did. Hello, Freedom First. Jason Renfro, of course. Much love.
Scorpio was first
boss.
Today. Yeah, I think Scorpio.
Let me see.
Yeah, pretty sure.
I see Freedom. Oh, Skeptical Fan was first, actually.
Skeptical. That's right. That's right. Skeptical always in first place across the board right now. So
leading in lots of ways there. And of course, Brandon James Shea. What's up? Much love. Hello. So with that, let's get rolling.
All right. Let's kick it off, guys. A lot of news to get to here. Of course, we're going to get to Zach Martin in a minute. But let's discuss some NFL news first. And you guessed it. Somebody already posted there. Former NFL running back Alex Collins. He passed away at the age of 28 years old Monday morning. This morning. And again, he was
so young.
28 years old. He played for the Seattle Seahawks. He was number 41 there, and he played for the Baltimore Ravens last, I think. Alex Collins combined his joy and passion for football with his love of the Irish dance. So he used to do that sometimes in the end zone. He actually took classes for that, and he was a fun player to kind of see and see on the field there. Obviously, horribly sad news. The statement from the Baltimore Ravens said, "With heavy hearts, we mourn the passing of Alex Collins. Always quick to greet everyone with a smile. He was genuinely a kind person who carried a special joy and passion wherever he went. May Alex always be remembered for the light and love he brought to so many people in his life." So obviously, condolences going that direction there to his family. Now we got Marco Seppi here in the house, kicking in the door early from Hawaii.
Shout out to you, Mark. Hello and hi.
Saying a big aloha.
With that $2 holler, he said, "Why didn't we extend Zach another year?"
Well, that is the decision of the front office. I'm assuming that they'd rather, just kind of take it like, let's see where he's at in 2 years, so we don't overpay for someone like Zach Martin, $18 million a year, when he might be maybe going over the top of that pinnacle of his career right now, right?
And not just that, but I imagine at that point that the Cowboys would probably want to sign him to like a 2-year deal type of situation. You know what I mean? Like, we're getting to that point in his career where he is just going to be getting like kind of shorter little bits of contract, and that type of money situation, like you said, that definitely is very different looking at it from an extension mindset versus a shorter term mindset, which would have to be part of that transition eventually. So the good thing is we're still not there yet, which I think is the point. Right. That's just obviously our assumptions here. But obviously it sounds like Zach Martin was also fine with it. So remember that. Zach Martin agreed.
Yeah,
he's happy with it.
A little bit of pre-NFL news here before we get to the Zach Martin details. And there's some interesting details there. Mark, again, rapping that $2 holler, he said, "Clown show. That's why." And with that, of course,
Cactus G did bring up a good point, right? Like, trust me, I'm not saying our front office didn't get a little stupid with it, right? Zach Martin could have been with us this whole time. Yep. Right?
That's the clown
show.
But
Cactus G said Zach Martin might want to retire in 2 years. That's why I said that, there's a lot of different possibilities. Like, both sides might have a vested interest
in keeping it to the 2-year deal.
Keeping it to this current 2-year deal, and then just figuring out the future when it gets here, right? Yeah. Like, Zach, when you hear from Zach in a little bit, no one has any interest in not being a Cowboy.
Guys,
so.
It's not just the Jerry Jones and Stephen Jones issues sometimes. It's actually the players also. They want certain things as well. So whatever it is, we'll hear from Zach Martin in a minute. I just want to fly through this NFL news real quick, and we'll get to this. I'm telling you, you're going to not want to hear the details we got for you on the Zach Martin situation. By the way, staying with the Ravens in a way, Michael Orr. You guys remember him from The Blind Side, the movie, of course, portraying his life.
Hard to forget that.
Yeah, again, he had a supposed adoption out of poverty, was immortalized in that movie in 2009, petitioned a Tennessee court on Monday with allegation that the story was a lie, and it was concocted and made up by the family to enrich themselves and make money. I don't know. Who knows? I mean, it's not a secret. I think he's kind of said this before, but now it's become more, I guess, public, more in the courts now. I don't know. He petitioned the Tennessee court with these allegations. Moving on, this kind of involves the Cowboys because Jalen Hurts, Eagles Jalen Hurts, becomes the third quarterback in the Jordan Nike brand, group. There, of course, he has a shoe deal now. They announced that today with the Jordan brand through Nike. The third quarterback. You guys, of course, know the other ones, right? Well, Bryce Young was one of them, Panthers rookie. He was signed, he was signed to that more recently.
Yeah.
And then, of course, the OG. Dak Prescott. Yes, he was, of course, the first Jordan football player on that brand. And now, Jalen Hurts is now the third quarterback on that brand. So, just flying through this again, guys. Teddy Bridgewater, who's with the Detroit Lions. You know what he said today? I think this is interesting. Because now you can pick any number, right? Teddy Bridgewater, he came in late to the team. He said he's going to be wearing number 50 in the preseason.
That's weird as hell.
He's going to be wearing number 50 at quarterback, so that'll be fun. Now, let's talk about a couple running backs. Number one, let's talk about Dalvin Cook from the Minnesota Vikings. You got to there. Dalvin Cook, guys, again, a guy that Cowboy fan, let's get him. The Jets today signed him. New York Jets with Aaron Rodgers. They're setting up a team over there trying to make a run at things. Signed Dalvin Cook. Probably the top running back available right now, I'd say, out there. Another weapon for Aaron Rodgers in the Jets offense, and they're loading up. Now, what's the deal? Dalvin Cook had a one-year deal with the Jets that's worth up to $8.6 million. And the majority of that portion is guaranteed. So that is probably now officially the biggest deal signed by a free agent running back this year. I think before this was Miles Sanders, believe it or not. So, and 8.6 is not like double digits. So this is for the top free agent out there. So that's kind of cheap there for a running back. Again, elite playmaker, can catch the ball and run for the Jets now, out of Minnesota with the Jets. Now, I'll say one last thing about Dalvin Cook. At least a week away from being able to practice. Why? He underwent shoulder surgery back in February.
Okay. So
that's probably another reason why some teams didn't want to risk, paying for him. Remember, that shoulder injury is something that happens to him almost every year. It's supposed to slow down the injury, but it's still going to happen. So you got to be careful there with that shoulder. If you're,
that's actually what was about to be my next question. Like, does the surgery fix the problem? So
well, it's supposed to, but even doctors are saying it's obviously never going to be 100% fixed. So it's still going to pop out.
Look, to me, I still think that for that price, like, it's still not bad considering what you're getting. And again, this is more of a rental deal, right? Not a marriage. So, I can see why it makes sense for both sides. Although I still think it still feels a little bit high when you consider all those factors. But like you said, this is like the number one top free agent guy available at this position.
At that position, at the running back spot. For now, right. And again, the biggest deal this whole offseason. Miles Sanders got the biggest one.
But again, the tread on those tires, again, running backs just have a really rough time of it out of pretty much any position.
Jangly Echoes in the house, kicking it off for him this week, and he's jumped into second place with that 5 on it.
Oh, and he said,
what did Jangly have to say?
Happy for Zach, though this sets a really bad precedent. Now motherfuckers are going to pull this crap all the time.
I'm going to give you guys a little heads up here. Jangly, this has happened already. This is not DeMarcus Lawrence did this. Zach Martin did it earlier. We had Zeke do it. We had not Jalen Smith, but Dak Prescott. I can sit here and probably name you. I mean, I'm probably missing a couple. That's obvious. You go through the list. Everybody that try to say we're gonna hold out on you, Jerry, every single one of them got paid. That's why I said it was gonna happen. I don't know. I was thinking it would be earlier. Jerry Jones held it, dug in a little bit deeper this time and just delayed the inevitable, hurting more than our offensive line side of things, hurting our defensive development line on the defensive line like Mozzie Smith. I want Mozzie going against not just Tyler Smith, and I don't want him going against Josh Ball at guard and Matt Farniak at guard. I want to see him going up against Zach Martin and Tyler Smith at guard. That's why I want to see Mozzie going up and getting better and better and better that way, not looking great and then being surprised in a game, right? When it's the talent level is raised. I want them getting that top level talent we have at guard.
And by the way, there's been plenty of players that have either tried to hold out or, have expressed their displeasure, done very similar things to Zach Martin and DeMarcus Lawrence and basically all these other guys that you mentioned, and even back and back and back and back and back. Yeah, except the difference is the Cowboys didn't want them, so the Cowboys just didn't give a shit, and they just moved on.
Well, with the lower level guys, but the guys
that's what I just said.
Yeah, but I'm saying that the big name guys, they always got their deal with Jerry Jones. Always. Every single big name guy.
That's why I said that it's going to be very hard for that many guys to follow in Zach Martin's footsteps because, one, you have to be a good enough player to even hang at that level. You get what I'm trying to say?
Yes, I do. You have to be a top-notch player to push that precedent.
Yes, and thank you, Skeptical Fan. Much love with another gifted membership there, Joe Martinez. Congrats to you.
Joe in the house now. He's part of the Navy Blue crew. Appreciate you, Skeptical Fan. as he adds another one. He's at 6 right now. He's going to kick that extra point, I think, right now. He's 6-0 right now against everybody else in the house. So appreciate him as he's coming for that crown on the membership side. It looks like.
So now Griff181 is saying, well, what if Tyron Smith wants more money? Well,
Cowboys
Tyron
might
Smith's
not.
situation is very different.
Tyron Smith never makes it through a season.
I was just about to say,
money.
it's a little bit different when you're like on the knife's edge of retirement, because the Cowboys would possibly call his bluff and then he'd just retire and the Cowboys would just go in a different direction. Like,
Right.
at
It's different. You got a guy at Pro Bowl. I mean, a Hall of Fame level still, a top guard in the league. When you got that, there's a reason that he's getting the money. He deserves it. He was getting horribly underpaid, right? He was getting paid $13.5 million, and these guys, the top guys, getting $20+ million. So he just wanted to get a little. He didn't want number 1. He just wanted to get in the top 3 up there, and he did.
Yes. And the final thing I'll say here before I pass it to you, I want the record to show Zach Martin tried to be nice. He tried to play the nice way.
Yep.
His agent and Zach Martin himself all kind of reached out to the front office.
Up in February.
Said, hey, what's up? Can we get something moving? And the front office basically shut him down completely.
Yeah, that was
until he did this.
That was one of the issues Zach Martin had, was the front office treatment of him in this discussion, right? They did what they usually do.
Mike Adnana said you have to be somebody worth the clown show's time to pull crap like that.
Correct.
And most players aren't.
Well,
so
I'm gonna give you an example. I'm gonna give you an example of a player that that is gonna falls in this category. At least did fall in the category. Now you see him not in that category. I'll explain in a minute. But first, Dalvin Cook. I just want to make sure that the shoulder surgery with him. He underwent that surgery in February. His New York arrival to the New York Jets is delayed. That he's now a first-time father, coming any day now.
Aww.
So congrats to Cooks there. I mean, not Cooks, but Dalvin Cook. And so it's going to be a little bit before he's on the field for the Jets, but he'll probably be ready there week 1 or 2 for us. We play them week 2, so we'll be seeing Dalvin Cook, Aaron Rodgers, and the Jets in Dallas very soon. Now, speaking of the last free agent guy, that my example of Jerry Jones cracking and then not cracking. You guys feel me? And this is, of course, and you guys already know, Ezekiel Elliott, guys. He unfortunately, there he is. Again, today he had a haircut. Let's put it this way. I mean, unfortunately, he got broken down by the Jerry Jones usage of him. We're not going to go into that. We've talked about that a shitload of times here on MCF, but Ezekiel Elliott had a new haircut. A look that brought him back to 2016, rookie with the Cowboys out of Ohio State, looking like a Buckeye over there when he came out of the draft to the Dallas Cowboys. So now, today, this morning, and everyone already is thinking, okay, something happened. A lot of people saying, let's bring him to Dallas again. Mm-hmm. A lot of people are talking, something's going to happen today. He's kind of giving that reset look. He did reset, guys. The New England Patriots. Now Ezekiel Elliott wearing number 15, his college number there, Ohio State Buckeye number. Patriots today signed former Cowboys former superstar running back. It's still carries a load for a team. He could get you some touchdowns. Ezekiel Elliott to this 1-year deal. So what? Okay, Dalvin Cook got 8.86, so whatever he got, 8.68. What did Zeke get? He got a 1-year deal worth up to $6 million.
Okay.
So it's about $2.5 million less than Dalvin Cook. Still worth up to $6 million. And again, had a good free agent visit with the Patriots, a little earlier in training camp. This gives New England Patriots some backfield help. And of course, Zeke, a new start for him. Planning again, you see the haircut he's got there? That's the dude he's got. He's rocking the old school.
Yeah, I was saying, like, it really does remind me of 2016 Zeke, like the college Zeke. So which obviously I think that he's trying to maybe
it's a reset.
Bring back some of that energy too.
Yeah, it's a reset for sure. And now
new team, new hair,
and also reset, new team, new hair, and a new number. Well, an old number, the number 15 from college. So that's what he's wearing there. Now look at the other money. You see, $6 million is the max he's going to get. That's the most he can get on a 1-year deal. What else is involved here? I don't think Jerry Jones would have ever given him $6 million, even if he could only get a certain base on that. And the base number $3 million base salary. Like, I think if the total was $3 million, I think the Cowboys would have bid. But I think because it was $3 million as a base only, and then you have the incentives, right? You have a $1 million signing bonus that can be worth up to $6 million with incentives total. So again, I just wanted to make that clear. Zeke officially a New England Patriot. Good luck to him. We will see him week 4. So we'll talk about that in a second. But again, week 4, matching up against the Cowboys in AT&T Stadium for the first time, will not be wearing a Dallas Cowboy jersey or helmet.
It's going to be very, very bizarre, but,
Very.
I'm sure 21 will meet 15 on the field.
Stephon Gilmore versus Ezekiel Elliott. Also, he's only 28 years old, of course. We know he's been banged up, though, at the last couple of years, being overused in the Jerry Jones mindset. He got paid. Let's blow his knees out, blow his career out. Either way, Zeke, according to his side, had a lot of different teams looking for him to sign him. But he ended up taking this deal with them, with the Patriots. I'm sure it was also probably good, very comparable to the top money. But also, he wanted to play for Bill Belichick. So finally getting a good coach for him there when it comes to the Jason Garrett years. So, yeah, again, good luck to Zeke. But honestly, I'm glad the talk can now end. I'm glad it's over.
One, I agree. Two, I actually do believe Zeke and that a lot of teams are interested. But based off this information that we know, what kind of offers were they actually bringing? So if they were similar to the Patriots, maybe a little less, maybe a little bit more, obviously, like you said, that's why I said that other factors came into play, because I imagine money-wise, the highest teams were all within like about $1 million of each other, like maybe someone might have offered 5, maybe someone offered 7. I don't know. I know the
Cowboys would never have offered that deal. So just in case you guys are wondering why the Cowboys didn't get him, that's why. So what's up? Yes, Mr. Skeptical Fan, another $2 holler. Woo. Taking Jason Remford at 83 Scott, and it's Jalen Brooks, number up there on the stream bus. What did the man say?
He said, just don't pick up your old habits, Zeke.
Yeah, exactly. Don't come in the league with the domestic charges there. You know what I mean? So I hear you. You know
what? Zeke's not on our team. He can do what he wants now.
Yeah, of course. But,
I'm cool. I mean, obviously.
We don't want
to see him. I wish him the best on a personal level. I'm just saying, do you, Zeke?
Listen, the thing is, the thing that really bothered me about this the most is that after a point, we knew already that, Jerry Jones and Steven, they kind of saying we're not really looking at anyone's possibility, but it was about the money. I knew it was going to happen. Never going to happen. And the thing is that some people are still out there like, let's get Zeke back. I think we can now stop hearing that shit for a while. And again, whether you love Zeke or not, I'm not saying anything bad, but I think that it wasn't the primary decision is, okay, Zeke was worth bending over backwards.
Yeah, I don't like leaving doors half open just because, again, there's just a lot of chatter and drafts that can come in and out. You know what I mean? So I'm glad that door is just closed, because now we know. That's it. We don't have to spend any more time thinking about it. All we have to think about is seeing him week 4, right? So Cactus, he says Zeke must have shown out in order to pull that $6 million.
It was probably those videos.
Scorpio's like, the money was way too high. Fuego said, yeah, money definitely too high for Zeke, especially with that leg injury. Could have been like Friday Night Lights. That would have fucking, fucked us in the end run. So
exactly.
Scorpio said, the only reason we got rid of Zeke was the fines from the Salvation Army bucket.
No. Yeah, even
the good thing is it's week 4 that we play the Patriots, not later on during the Thanksgiving time.
We'll see in week 4 against the Dallas Cowboys at AT&T Stadium, wearing a different team's uniform. There, it's going to probably be the white. This dark jersey you see right there on your screen. Probably what you're going to see when you see Zeke next time playing in Dallas. So, on that note, now let's go to what happened today when it transpired with forget about Zeke. He's not a Cowboy, but you know who is a Cowboy? This guy. You remember what he was doing in this holdout? Zach Martin was busting his ass.
Not a Cowboy, I can tell you that.
He's not a Cowboy like Zeke was, but not anything against that. I'm just saying that's who they were. But here's Zach Martin busting. Now, you can see all the video footage from him as I speak over this, because today, believe it or not, guys, after practice, I'm skipping because there was an interesting comment after practice. DeMarcus Lawrence was asked after the walkthrough in practice today if he had found it strange to not be at camp with his fellow class of 2014 draftee, Zach Martin. And I think he knew something was up, guys, because he said, quote, I mean, yes and no. A lot of my training camps, I've been on the sideline, so I haven't been able to be in action like I was this year. But I know what's up, man. Zach's going to be okay. And the Cowboys are going to be okay. I'll see him soon. DeMarcus Lawrence knew something because, yes, working these weights right here in Dallas, in the Dallas area with the O-line masterminds there and Duke Manyweather. Zach Martin was keeping himself in tip-top shape. Shortly after this, Zach Martin on his Twitter, he never uses the social media stuff. He posted, quote, back to work.
Oh, shit.
So then, the shit's hitting the fan there for the rest of the league when they got to go up against this guy. Boom. Zach Martin. So, Cowboys, All-Pro, future Hall of Famer, guard, and team captain Zach Martin today reached an agreement on a reworked deal. Reworked the deal. The new deal will pay him now a little bit over $18 million in each of the next 2 seasons.
Okay.
All right. $18 million, a little over $18 million this year, a little more over $18 million last year. Zach Martin was scheduled to be at $13.5 million this season. And next year he's going to get $14 million. That's highly underpaid. Not saying that you have to give him his, but he is the top guy in the league right now.
The point is that, for a relatively small overall price of around an extra $8 million
total. Yeah, extra $4 a year is what it took.
That's really not that bad for, again, a top tier elite all pro bowler. Right?
Still at the top of his game. Still at the top of his game.
That's why I mentioned all those epithets. It's not like he was doing that a few years ago. He's doing that now.
I hear some people saying out there, and listen, I can't believe these are Cowboy fans. They're like, nah, his knee's all messed up. Oh, no, he ain't the best anymore. Oh, no, he's kind of weak right now. These to me are fans that don't watch the Dallas Cowboys. I mean, and a lot of people, more than I thought, that people were, again, not anybody here, trust me, but people all over the YouTube streets. I'm like, really? These people are thinking that this is we caved in, it's going to set a bad, again, some of you guys said it too. It's going to set a bad precedent going forward, but no, it's not. He's following the people who set that already. So Zach Martin, he's going to end up getting a little over $8.5 million extra, okay, in the next 2 years. And also, remember, he had no more guarantees. Now both years are fully guaranteed. Important things there for him, right? So based on this, a little north of $18 million a year, then for the next 2 years, that puts him basically as the third highest paid guard, behind Chris Lindstrom, $20.5 million, and Quentin Nelson, $20 million. Just so you guys get a picture here, he's getting 18 a year, a little over 18 a year. He didn't want to be number one. He didn't want to say, I want to get $21 million. He said, just give me a top 3.
In the ballpark.
I think this was a mistake this was a great move by the Cowboys, but it was just a mistake waiting this long by the freaking front office. And that to me is some of the issue. Now, you know what did happen? Zach Martin said that they had, not Zach Martin, but the reports is that there have been discussions between the Cowboys and Zach Martin and his reps in the last 10 days. They were in a mad rush. And they believe there was some direct talks between Zach Martin and Jerry Jones. Both sides are, of course, glad to get this done and focus on the field. I talk about the money here. We'll talk about a little bit more here. But remember Jerry Jones, Stephen Jones saying, well, we can't give Zach Martin a raise because we got to pay Micah Parsons.
Yeah.
That's all. Again, guys, what did I say? You guys know what I say. The pie is a lie. Thank you. Proven right again. Mm-hmm. And I'm not trying to be. I'm just trying to be honest. It's not about being, yeah, I'm right. It's the fucking lie. That pie is a lie, and they will use it. Now, of course, there's, you can do too much pieing, and then you can overload yourself in the future. But right now, they can sign whoever they want. They can sign. That's a fact. So they got Zach Martin in there. And here's the thing I'm going to say with his holdout. It would not have ended today, this holdout. This would have kept going, this holdout, if he insisted on being paid as the top guard in the league. If he had insisted to get paid number one, and from the beginning of this holdout, we knew he was not wanting that.
Yeah, and he straight up said it himself.
Yeah.
He's like,
I don't want to get the top pay. I want to get top, in the range, the ballpark, and he's now top 3. It's all he wanted. So the thing is this, guys, if he had insisted on being the top paid guy, this holdout will still be going on right now. Mm-hmm. This would have still been going on. He and the Cowboys did resolve this dispute because of willingness to find middle ground on both sides. Jerry Jones knew he had the upper hand, but Zach Martin had him, killed out there if he don't play.
Yeah.
Woo, Harley Dad. Oh, in the house. Another one of our not international. I think he's here from the U.S., but he hangs on the other channels. Much love to Harley Dad. No, a member here in MCF. And why?
Thank you, Skeptical.
Why did he get that? That's right.
Gifted membership there. Huge shout out to you. Much love, of course.
Another one. Week. That's the full touchdown with the extra point there. Much love to Skeptical fan. Appreciate him. I'm going to update that number right now, because he got the 7-0 lead right now where everybody in the house on night number 1.
So Stephen White said, Zach got more of the pie. We get less depth now. I have a genuine, real question.
Who said that?
Were we getting depth before Zach Martin was kicking and screaming for more money?
Do you know
Does this really, truly, in any actionable way, change our offensive line plans?
Nope,
as they
not even a little bit. Just see who said that so I can...
that was Stephen White.
Stephen White, come on, man. You know better than this. The clown show. Listen, they let every single free agent go off the board. And then
we like our guys.
They didn't even go draft anybody there in the second round. They decided to say, we're going to be good with our Matt Farniaks and Matt Walesko's. We picked up Chuma Adoga, who's now hurt. We drafted Awesome Richards in the 5th round. All this stuff. to me, is just not addressing your depth. That's not about the money. That's not about Zach Martin or Dak Prescott or the money they're getting. It's about these two motherfuckers. And I think we all know. Come on, Stephen White. You just fucking around with me now. Anyway, it's the clown show on that. And look, here's what I'm going to say. Jerry Jones, I'll say this. Jerry Jones knew that he had the upper hand, but he knew that our team would go to shit if Zach Martin's not playing this season. We have no guards. We never stabilized that. That's Jerry Jones. If he actually wanted to play hardball with Zach Martin, you get yourself a guard in the draft. You get yourself a viable guard in free agency. You don't sit here and go in there with TJ Bass, undrafted guard, starting and rookie Austin Rich. You just don't do that. If you do that, you're going to get dragged. And that's what Jerry Jones got used here. Even though he had a little bit more upper hand than in the past, he still was going to get ripped because nobody in this team can compare to Zach Martin at guard and Tyler Smith at guard. That's it. So, look. The thing is this, Zach Martin, I want to make sure everyone understands this. Zach Martin is still a bargain. He's still a steal, just not as much of a steal. That's all. That's all that's changed today. It's just a little bit more even, but it's still unfair to him. In reality, we have the upper hand still. We have him at the third highest paid guy. I take him over the other two guys I mentioned.
For anyone who has a problem with players negotiating in this way,
that's the rules.
I guess, do you hate Emmitt Smith then? Like, I'm just trying to say, because to me, he's like the iconic Cowboy player of holding out to get paid what you deserve.
Remember, guys, the CBA dictates it in the writing, every single contract. The owner can cut you for whatever reason. If you don't perform or you're going to go a different way, your salary is too high, you can get cut. You break the contract. The owners. Same thing goes for the players. I got to say it again and again. The players have a right to sit out, get fined, but to push for a contract, you have to be a really good player to be able to get that kind of deal. And guess who is? Zach Martin.
Yeah, and by the way,
that's it. Simple as that. That's their job. It's not the same as our jobs.
And do you know the players who can afford to take those types of risks and sit out? Because I'm going to tell you right now, it's definitely not any mid-tier range players on average mid-tier range contracts.
Even top players don't get. The owners don't buckle for these guys because most of the time you got to be a Hall of Fame type guy to get this kind of move. And guess what? If he was getting paid 18 and he wanted 23, then I'd say you're right, Steven. But he was getting 13 and 14, and the best are getting 20 and 21, and he just wanted 18. So it's a business move, and if you live in America, you like capitalism, you love this.
Well, hey, to me. I think the man himself says it best, and we'll get to it when we touch on what he says. But he basically says himself, he's like, I don't take it personally because it's a business, and we both, we're both just doing our part here, our business side of things.
He's not going to take offense to Jerry Jones. Jerry Jones made some comments. But look, just to finish up here on my side, I know you got the actual blow by blow from exactly what Zach Martin said. But the thing is this. Here's the thing. So we got a deal. We still got a deal with Zach Martin, just not as big of a bargain, right? What does this mean about him playing on the field? I personally don't think Zach Martin's going to hit the field tomorrow with the pads on. He's going to acclimate. He's going to take a little time. It might take a week. My thing is this. I think it's just a little sideline work for him the next couple of days. So he's not going to be in full action probably until they get back to Texas, back to the Frisco at the Star after this Saturday's game against the Seattle Seahawks. After this game against the Seattle Seahawks, he'll be back in, I think, the hitting rotation. Back on the field there in that hitting way, starting Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. I think those are the 3 days they practice for the public as well next week. So, again, just keep that in mind. I don't think you're going to see him on the field practicing this week. Or, of course, you're not going to see him at the game against the Seattle Seahawks on Saturday. But that gives him, if he starts working out with the team, helping the defense, helping the offense, whatever, and I say the defense because he's the matchup that's going to improve our players on the defensive line to get even better. Right now, if he gets back here next Tuesday on the field, participating in the hitting drills, that gives him 2 full weeks. 2 full weeks. Just basically, he gets on the field, he's preparing for the Giants on Sunday night.
Exactly.
September 10th.
And again, this isn't some rookie, fresh from college.
He knows his ish.
Or some young buck just starting off in his career. This is Zach Martin. He will be fine. He has missed other preseasons before due to a bit of bumps and bruises or recovering from a surgery or whatever, and had similar situations like this. And guess what? He has also been fine then. So the bigger thing here is more of the catching up by the rest of the O-line, hopefully, not in a bad way, just in a, we want everybody on the same page. But again, Martin's a consummate professional, and it's not like the guys playing next to him are strangers either. We have Terrence Steele back. Yeah, baby. We have Biadasz to his left. Cool, awesome. He already knows him too, so
yeah, he's a veteran. He's gonna be a Hall of Famer. He's a team captain. He's gonna fit right back in, no problem. It's more about, I think, the body, making sure you just rush him. There's no need to rush him in because you're getting 2 full weeks before the Giants game. That's what you're practicing for. He's not practicing. He's practicing for the Giants. Next week, he's going to start practicing for the Giants, not for any other teams or anyone else. But I also want to say, when it comes to Zach Martin, he's going to bring. Look at our offensive line. All right, we're knocking on wood that Tyron Smith makes it through this. Last year, he went back to Frisco. You remember what happened to Tyron Smith?
Yeah.
His muscle got ripped off the bone, and that took him out until December. We cannot have that happen. So as long as Tyron Smith gets through these last couple of weeks of training camp, and Terrence Steele doesn't have any setbacks with that knee, right? Biotish got his ankle rolled, but he looks like he's going to be fine. Tyler Smith, a solid rock. Zach Martin, a solid rock. How good is our offensive line, knock on wood, when healthy? Look at that. Now, it went from holy shit. Now, I know the depth is the issue, but I want to add one other thing. If Tyler Smith has to go for Tyron Smith's spot, or Tyron Smith has to go to, because he's hurt, but let's say Tyron Smith has to take over for Terrence Steele because he's hurt, and Tyler Smith moves over. Whatever the mixes and matches are, we have, let's go at tackle. We have, again, I hate saying this, but like Farniak or Awesome Richards. If we have these guys in there, just one of them, instead of all 5 being scrubs, you have one. You're gonna see the weak link, obviously, but I think it won't be as bad as maybe people may think.
Yeah, we can handle one
weak link. One weak link, and it's not good. But the thing is this: what did McCarthy plan for this entire offseason? I know, baby, last night you didn't hear this part, but the speed that we get rid of the ball in the pocket is about making sure that the offensive line, when there is an issue, I think Mike McCarthy knows there's going to be an issue. Tyron Smith is going to be gone, and we have to mix and match and use a scrub. When that issue happens, we're already used to throwing the ball quick. Will Greer threw the ball at an average of 2.3 seconds, 2.13 seconds, and Cooper Rush was at 2.3 something seconds. 2.5 is like, it'd be great if they get under 2.5. It's not about these quarterbacks never were prepared for this. This is what the scheme calls for. And so this is Mike McCarthy's preparing this team for an offensive lineman being down. And because we already will be used to getting the ball out quickly. So can Farniak hold it down for 3 games? He's going to look better because we get the ball out quick. And he's going to look better because he's got the other 4 guys around him are starting elite level linemen, right? And same thing if Waletzko is going at tackle. It's the same situation. The other 4 guys are going to be elite level guys. It's really about who the Cowboys feel is the best and maybe the best for that position. Because if they don't trust Waletzko's blindside kind of protection, you got to move Tyler Smith out there, and you got to go with Farniak or Awesome Richard in the guard spot. I want to get a guy that's more trustworthy and we can rely on. Remember, we used to have Joe Looney. He just jumps right in and felt so good. We don't have anything like that right now. So that's why this offensive line, when you look at Zach Martin and Terrence Steele together on the right side, they were one of the best combo blockers, duo blockers in the NFL.
Tyler Smith has a similar Joe Looney-esque, and hear me out here, I'm not talking talent-wise in any single way, because obviously much more talented, but it's more about the fact that, again, Looney played at a pretty consistent level across the board wherever we put him at. And he also did it with a lot of like natural enthusiasm, right? Like his energy level was good. I'm just saying that Tyler Smith has a similar potential there in the sense of like he maintains his high level of play, whether he's at left guard or left tackle, even if he obviously naturally plays a little better. I see the comparison. You're comparing, but it's more just I think his mindset too and the way he approaches it. Like he said it before. He's like left tackle, left guard, whatever. Like left side. I am going to go in there and play and knock some people down to the ground. So
yeah, and listen, I again, the talent level is where it's a big difference there.
Obviously.
But I understand you're saying the versatility we have with Looney is similar to someone you have with a Tyler Smith.
Yeah, but like I said, his mindset and the way he approaches it too.
Well, I think that's the thing. Look, our 5 guy starters are top. We have a top 10 offensive line with all 5 guys starting. It should knocking on wood. It should be week 1, right? So as long as they're healthy, and it won't be the whole year, as long as they're healthy, we're going to be, I think, an unbelievable offense. Let me explain this to you guys. First and foremost, Zach Martin was present and walking around in Oxnard already. Okay. Smiling, hanging out with the offensive linemen. Of course, like I said, padded practice starts tomorrow and Wednesday. He will not be on the field for that. He might be working something on the resistance cords on the sideline. I don't know. But either way, give him some time to get back on the field full blast. I just want to finish by saying one thing about the fines. I'm going to bring this up. He missed officially 21 days of training camp. The fines, which cannot be rescinded, it's an estimated at $1.05 million. There's a question now if he can be fined for off days as well, because he did have a couple off days, so it's probably going to be less than this.
Yeah, from my understanding, off days are not finable days, but obviously...
But a walkthrough is, and today was a walkthrough, so we missed that. So I'm just saying, like, again, we'll see how that goes, but again, the point is this. Here's what Zach Martin did. You say, okay, well, he still got to pay $1 million back of that money to the NFL. Yeah, it's an investment he made, guys, and he got himself a nice raise. Let me explain. The fines that he incurred, which cannot be taken away now, but it's NFL fines, not Cowboy team fines. He sacrificed about, I'd say at the very least $900,000 to $1 million. And what did he get? He got $8.5 million in new money. So,
and more than that, to me, the fact that the last 2 years are guaranteed, like there's no money.
Well, the final 2 years. It's the only 2 years.
That's what I'm saying. Like the guarantees alone are like worth their weight in gold here as far as negotiations.
$36 million in guaranteed money. So that's like, I was just about to say that. Quality investment by Zach Martin. He was not guaranteed at all before this. So he got an extra $4+ million each year, and he got fully guaranteed deal this year and next year. I think that's fair enough. I think he's reliable enough that he should be a solid guy this year and next year. Now after that, they'll go back to the bargaining table, I guess. And I feel Zach Martin probably give him a deal. Because Zach Martin that's kind of the guy he is. So
again, at that point, I think it's a different discussion.
Yeah, he's on a decline at that point.
Again, lots of other factors to play as well. Like depending on health-wise, like how he's doing and stuff. Exactly. Honestly, as long as we meet a certain minimum number of guarantees, I think with Zach Martin, I do see him still staying with the Cowboys as long as he's physically able to play. Very similar to Tyron Smith, right?
But if he's a top 5 guy, not a top 1, he's going to get a lot less money. That's what I'm saying. Then this is his last payday deal. And I think he knows this. So look,
which is why he pushed so hard for this.
Correct. This was he had to push because he wasn't gonna get it again. After his deal was up, he was not going to be at the pinnacle anymore. Mm-hmm. By next year, he's at the end of next year. The next year after that,
he's going to be in a different timeline when it comes
to
he'll be
a top 10 guard.
Contracts and things like that. Yeah.
Now I want to say one last thing, baby. And I talked about the offensive line. Listen to our offense in week 1. And now listen. We got McCarthy up the scheme, and I believe it's an improvement. But let's hear the players we got on that field. Because I'm going to ask you, who do you think is our worst player? Now, Dak Prescott at quarterback. Shut up, guys. I know some of you guys are thinking stack. Dak Prescott at quarterback. Tony Pollard at running back. CeeDee Lamb. Brandon Cooks. Michael Gallup at receivers. Jake Ferguson at tight end. Tyron Smith. Tyler Biadasz, Pro Bowler. Zach Martin, Terrence Steele. Ferguson's the worst guy, in my opinion.
I was just about to say, I'm like, it sucks to say it because it's not like he's like the shittiest guy in the world.
Far from it.
But it's even, I'll admit, though, it's not like he has done anything yet to, deserve heaps of praise or even deserve the starting spot in a lot of ways. But
the lesser guy on this, the guy you say, okay, he's the guy I'd say, okay, because
one of these things is not like the other. And Jake Ferguson is definitely the...
People say Biadasz, but I say Pro Bowler. And even if, there's only 3 good centers, okay, well, he's one of those in the NFC.
Yep.
That you got, to me, of course, Tyron Smith, you can say he's getting old. But when he's in there, he's a top 10 guy, easy. Tyler Smith, we know he's a top guy. Zach Martin, top guys. Terrence Steele, top guy. He's healthy. He's a young top guy. As long as that knee doesn't fuck up, he's going to be Pro Bowler this year. So that's our linemen. None of them are worse than Jake Ferguson, right? I mean, you could say Schoonmaker is maybe better than Jake Ferguson in the long run. Who knows, right? But
right now, Ferguson's definitely the top guy.
Dak, Pro Bowler. Tony Pollard, Pro Bowler. CeeDee Lamb, Pro Bowler. Brandon Cooks, new player, but Pro Bowler in the past. And Michael Gallup. I mean, I guess you could say Michael Gallup and Ferguson would be fighting for that spot. I would love for my worst players to be Gallup and Ferguson. I'm just saying. So
I'd say that's a pretty good position to be in.
Do you love this guy? Do you love this? So as long, look, knocking a lot of times, so we stay healthy. We bring in Schoonmaker up into the thing. We know he's going to be used a lot by McCarthy all over the inline blocker, a little fullback. Who knows? But you're going to use all these guys. You got you can throw in there Tolbert once in a while. You got some depth on all the other positions but offensive line. You got a shitload of depth at tight end. So to me, we are I'm going to knock it on wood and just roll forward. Running back, I guess you can say we give a little bit better, definitely with the second running back. But Deuce Vaughn, maybe he's a second running back taking 15 snaps a game. I don't know. Either way, I'm happy where our offense is right now, and it could have been a lot worse. Now, of course, we all know it's not going to be perfect, and they're not going to stay all healthy the whole year. But when they're healthy, we're an offense to be reckoned with. And you know about our defense. That big D, baby. So, hey, I'll shut up now. Again, I know that Zach Martin did speak. So, and it was pretty important to what he said because he gives you an insight to what the dealings were behind the scenes with Jerry Jones and company. So, why don't you break it down for me?
Oh, yeah, hit
it up.
Jack Dong said, we could save some money to re-sign Zeke by trading Dak for Trey Lance and then Diggs for Eli Apple.
Yeah, no. If you want to,
you know what? That makes perfect sense.
I wonder if it's an Eagle. I wonder if it's an Eagle fan wanting to derail the Cowboys. I know what you're doing. We got you.
So anyway, let's hear from our Dallas Cowboy, Zach Martin. So first of all, he straight up said this: I wanted to be a Cowboy. I didn't want to play anywhere else. I'm grateful to the Jones family, grateful to my team, and the people that helped me stay ready and get back here. So, of course, trust me, Zach Martin, we are more than happy.
Yes.
To have you here.
Happy this was just business, and they got a deal done.
Mm-hmm. So, and of course, Zach Martin had a little bit more to say. He specifically was saying this in regards to the face-to-face meeting that he did confirm he did have with Jerry Jones. So they did sit down and meet face-to-face. He said he was great. We were able to have that one-on-one time, and I think that helped, just being able to talk face-to-face. I think ultimately that's what made me feel more comfortable and how he felt more comfortable. And then we started talking about this and the numbers and where we eventually headed.
So you're seeing Jerry Jones jumping in there to save the day, but Stephen Jones being bad cop in there, okay? So, again, Stephen Jones, I don't think you really talk much sense to him. He seems like a brick wall to me. So Jerry Jones gets involved in these deals, and guess what always happens? They finally get done. It's almost like Jerry comes and saves the day, but the whole time he's telling Stephen Jones, hey, don't let him get an inch. But when I come in there, I'll be the savior. That's what it sounds like. Good cop, bad cop with Jerry Jones.
Well, I don't know who's going to be playing the good cop, bad cop in the future. But anyway, adding on to that, Zach Martin obviously said, quote, I just think I've been here for a long time. I've accomplished some great things, but just felt like where I was in the market, that it's something that has been deserved, and I felt strongly about it. He gave lots of praise to his agent, RJ Gonser, adding in there. Obviously, it took a little time, but I'm super grateful to the Joneses. Once we started talking and having that connection, we were able to figure something out that worked for both of us.
Yep.
So, like we said, again, nothing wrong with that, right?
It's all business.
And remember, kind of rolling back, the Cowboys front office made it very clear that they really did not have any interest in doing any deals with that, right? And
Stephen White likes that.
Look, and just like football, where you got to square up, right? Zach Martin said it, quote, someone talked to me and was like, when you step in the ring, you have to be ready for whatever. I didn't even take it personal. He's got to say what he's got to say. I tried to stay quiet during it, and I never wanted this to be a media back and forth, and I think he appreciated that. So,
did not take it to the media.
Basically, he's just trying to say that, Jerry is just doing what Jerry has to do for his business. Zach's doing what he had to do for his personal life, himself, business.
And set himself up, so this is the retirement money.
There's no hard feelings, but basically Zach Martin did what he wanted to do and handled it the way he wanted to. Jerry did his usual media talk and stuff, but that Zach Martin's just like, look, I'm not, that's just not my thing.
Yeah,
so,
I think he also took it as, hey, this is negotiations. This is what business is about. I get the allowance. I'm allowed to do this by the CBA. Sorry, Stephen.
Yeah.
And Jerry's allowed to negotiate this way as well.
And it's not like Zach Martin is ignorant of the risks either. Again, like he said, when you step in the ring, you got to be prepared and saying, quote, I never wanted to play anywhere else. And that's where I'd get some anxiety or have a rough day during this, just thinking about that. That's what it came down to. I don't want to play anywhere else. I don't want to play for another organization. I don't want to move my family. And I was just hoping that something would get done. And luckily we were able to get something figured out. And remember, guys, he's going to be 33 years old this November.
Yep.
And he's still playing at this level.
You guys are saying it right. You guys are saying that you said this too. He might want to retire after this contract expires, and this is the bon voyage. He's going to retire at the top of his game. Yeah. We're going to get 2 fantastic years of Zach Martin.
Depending on, honestly, I have to be real. If the Cowboys go where we want them to go, if they go where every single fan here wants them to, and we add some rings, we add some hardware to our team,
he'll retire.
Absolutely, he's hanging his cleats up. So, just being real. And to kind of wrap things up here, Zach Martin said, sounds like I'll get some time to get my legs underneath me, working in individuals, get some conditioning, work my way into it, but we'll see. I feel pretty confident in the shape I'm in, but nothing mimics football shape than actually playing football. So hopefully a week, 2 weeks, I'll start feeling good and start feeling like I'm ready to rock. Which again, you just told us, baby. He said a week, 2 weeks. What did he just say? How much time did he have again?
Listen, you're gonna have a week, 10 days from now till next week when he's trying to put the pads on back in Texas at the Star, the Star in Frisco, and then he'll have about approximately a good solid two full weeks to get ready and practice hard for the Giants week 1. So he'll have 1 week off, 10 days off, and 2 weeks to practice before facing the Giants. He'll be 100% fine. Remember, none of these guys are playing in preseason. Remember that. McCarthy already said that yesterday.
So, and again, that's everything from Zach Martin and what he had to say as far as...
What's the chat saying, baby, about this Zach Martin situation? I know we gave all our thoughts already out the wazoo.
I do have to say this here. I kind of agree with Cactus. Steven, you got to go ahead and, take a little hit, toke there, and deep breaths, chill out. On, man. Hi, Zach Steven. Martin is not raping the team any more than any other player.
$4 million a year.
Did
Jerry Jones had him, and I'm not saying it was done on purpose, but they had him in a spot where he had to do something, or it looks embarrassingly like he's being used by Jerry Jones. So it's like he had to do something. He got an extra $4 million. Trust me, he's 1,000,000% worth it. And
So and it absolutely is a star over everything, but that is realistically acknowledging that
if you don't have him, it's not about the star then. If you don't have him back on this team, you're not about the star then.
Yes, you want the best thing for the team, and I do think the best thing is to keep our all-pro
Hall of
right
Fame
guard
guy in the future.
Just the fact that we're having some of these discussions, I have to admit, it really does blow my mind sometimes, and that's not to be like rude or mean to anyone. It's just that I can't believe that we can't all just agree that Zach Martin is that guy.
I told
and deserves every fucking penny.
I told you guys. I told you that some people. I didn't know Steven was one of those people, but I said some people out there talking like it was a mistake. I don't understand it. But okay, listen, everybody is free to their opinion. I want Steven to voice his opinion, even though he's wrong. And I want to hear everybody else's opinion. We know Steven's view. We know our view.
So
what's everyone saying?
said Dak's going to be so much better with this new scheme.
Hell yeah. With now Zach Martin back.
El Fuego said he's been playing with us since 2013. He's proved his loyalty to the Cowboys.
I mean, come on. He is, I think he's 2014 with DeMarcus Lawrence.
Jesse R, much love. Thomas Garrett said Baby Nuts would have fucked it up.
Exactly. He's fucking it up the whole time. Since February, he's fucking it. Now Jerry Jones steps in. But he's fucking it up because Jerry Jones is saying play hardball.
Yeah, and Smody said falling in love with players has the potential to come back and bite you in the NFL cheeks. And
true.
I do agree. But if there's ever a player to fall in love with, it would be an all-pro, Pro Bowler, future first-round ballot Hall of Famer.
If Tyron Smith is the same, he's a future Hall of Famer, all this stuff, all-pro. If he was in the same position right now and doing the same thing, he wouldn't get paid. He's at injury risk because Zach Martin is not. He has not shown to be an injured player. He's out there, knock on wood, by the way, but he's one of these Iron Man guys. So again, Tyron Smith wouldn't sit out because he knows that the Cowboys have too much of leverage. But Zach Martin is a different ballpark right now in their respective careers, and that's just, sorry to say, the facts of the case.
Oh, cool. Said Chuckles is managing that cap. Joseph Cowboy said, we're running West Coast, but don't be surprised to see some 21 personnel with our line and our tight ends.
I'm going to talk about the personnel here in a couple of minutes, so keep it tuned in. I got a nice read and something surprising. 4 receivers.
Skeptical fan said, we don't trade our best players.
No, we die with them. And that's not good either sometimes, but Zach Martin's still top of his game. And it's not like we're getting him for 10 years. We're getting him for this year, which he was going to be here anyways, and next year. I'll roll the dice on that.
Yeah, Bendy and Boogie, much love. And yes, guys, let me take a second here because we have around Zach Martin-ish numbers of you guys here chilling, watching, hanging with us. So take a second to hit like if you haven't already. Subscribe down below. Hit that notification bell. Again, best, easiest, simplest way to make sure you never miss a live stream. You can always hop into our Discord as well. Keep that Cowboy conversation going. And, of course, extra special shout-out to the sponsor of the week and the Cash App King.
Boom. Snug X. You know why he's here.
Representing there, Jason Renfro. Bossing that stream boss with 83 points.
Still at Jalen Brooks. He's also the back-to-back, Jason Renfro, the back-to-back membership gifting king over there. So much love to him. Yeah. The champ up there.
I still messed that up. I'm sorry.
He went up with 10. But guess what? This week, Skeptical Fans already got 7 on that board. So much love to Skeptical Fan on that side. He's
Who
in first.
Is leading the board?
He is first place right now on the overall board. It's Skeptical Fan. And the leader up here in the Cash App is no one. There's no one in the Cash App, guys.
It's a brand new week, guys.
$ MyCowboysFamily gets you on that board. Anyways, but yes, SnugX has the crown, though, the whole week. Now, do I go on here? We done with Zach Martin?
That's
Perfect.
We're ready to keep rolling past that.
Let's talk about today's practice. Now, we got to still practice, guys. It was not the same practice I thought. The Cowboys moved padded practice from, it was supposed to be Monday, Tuesday. They moved it to Tuesday, Wednesday. So tomorrow and Wednesday, we're getting all the film coming up, the video. Today, not that much. Today was Zach Martin Day, right? So today was a walkthrough for the team. And again, because they were so close to the game day, and we play Saturday, so they decided to take it easy today rather than take it easy Wednesday, which I don't mind. I don't mind that. So
that's fine.
Again, especially after a nice, good tough game. We play against some starters in that first two drives on both sides of the ball. So I got to give credit to this team for their first game out there. These young guys playing out there, and they still held it together ish, right? I mean, it wasn't that bad. So in that sense, as a team effort, but you're looking at the individual stuff. Look, we'll talk about the big bubble here right now because he spoke today. When it comes to Mike McCarthy, and before we get into the practice, he spoke from River Ridge Complex there in Oxnard, and Nashawn Wright, one of the guys that was injured in the game, right?
Mm-hmm.
He was dealing with a slight high ankle sprain, not a serious one, which is good news there. He suffered that in of course, the Jacksonville game.
Yeah, I remember
on
he said
Saturday.
as he was in that preliminary boot.
Yep. So now it was a slight high ankle sprain. Wearing a protective boot afterwards, of course, after the game. And the other guy that was injured was Malik Jefferson. He has a foot sprain. All right. Nothing major, though, guys. It's unclear how much either will miss, but we got clarity for that in a minute. McCarthy said that Malik Jefferson, a linebacker, has a chance to play this week.
Damn.
So,
and he's the more banged up of the two.
Malik is not in a boot, though. So Nashawn Wright is. Nashawn Wright, according to McCarthy, would, quote, be hard-pressed to go. So no Nashawn Wright this week. That's what I'm going to bet on that. And Malik Jefferson may play. Remember, Malik Jefferson trying to fight for a 53. It's probably more realistic he gets cut and comes back on the practice squad. So Malik Jefferson, Nashawn Wright, they're our most banged-up players out of this game. And I'm not saying anything bad about them. They're good. They're good role players, whatever. We'll see where they fall in this team, but they're not starters. They're not major players. We're not missing even these guys for too long. So that's great news there for both these guys. Junior Fehoko, when we talked about his shoulder strain, he didn't play this game. He has a chance this week to play against Seattle. He needs to show something out there. So Junior Fehoko, he's going to be out there, according to McCarthy, quote, hopes to have him back on the field. So Fehoko should be back, yo. But McCarthy then started speaking about how he sees himself and judges himself as a play caller. Now, we're not talking, this is the calling the plays in a game, his first time since Green Bay. And he said, quote, well, he says, if I was judging him, he's got work to do still. He said, but he did say, he did make a comment, guys, that said there's no issues with any communication stuff going on. It sounds like it's more execution on the field, and look, that's okay right now.
Honestly, I was gonna say, it sounds like you said, execution is just a matter of practice, which is a good thing, right? That just means that they just have to keep practicing it more. But it sounds like at least the fundamentals of whatever our offensive game plan is at least in there well enough. You get what I mean? So, which is honestly, that makes me feel really good and very, very different from the, hey, it's week 8, we just figured it out, now what? That happened last year. Which is crazy to think about. Remember, guys, Kellen Moore, for as good or bad as he was, right?
I'm listening.
We did have a pretty high-powered offense, overall, statistically speaking, while Kellen Moore ran things.
Right. So against the bad defenses, I would say much more so.
My whole point is that imagine how much better it's going to look and it's going to get when we still have a lot of those same pieces that did contribute in a positive way. But now we're going to be using them very differently, right? And you have to admit that we did add at least a little bit more firepower in certain aspects of our offense. So, again,
we
some
went over
O-line
earlier.
depth
You heard that
could be
offense?
desired. Yes, absolutely. Maybe our tight end situation could be a little bit more solid, but it's not like, at least we have 3 healthy-ish guys that are hungry to compete.
Agree. What I'm trying to say is that when I listed that offense we have on the field, whether it's offensive line, tight end, receiver, quarterback, running back, come on now. I mean, that was pretty impressive in my opinion. So, yeah, this offense has a high ceiling, even if it's not the star of the show, which is the whole point. The identity of the team is the defense. And let me tell you what the identity of the current Cash App situation. We have a new leader, baby. And we have a second. He's overall on the board right now, second place behind Skeptical Fan, but first place on the Cash App, El Fuego.
Woo!
Burning it up out there,
Bring
baby.
the fire.
He
much
said,
love.
Yes, he said, much love, MCF, with that $20 Tony Pollard holler.
Thank you so
Appreciate
much, Fuego.
you, brother.
Appreciate you. And yeah, we need some running back representation on a day like today.
I would say the offense is the one thing I would say on offense outside of depth on the offensive line is maybe that a little more solidifying depth on running back. And I don't mean that means Zeke. I mean, I'm just saying it means figure out Rico Dowdle or Malik Davis. Because Deuce is that third guy, in my opinion.
Is it a coincidence that Cooks...
Much love, Fuego.
Not Cooks. Cook. Damn it, I did it too. Is it a coincidence that Cook and Zeke signed on the same day?
I mean, that's
I
a good
know
point.
It is a coincidence. I know it really is. It's not like anyone sat there and planned it, but
they might have been talking though.
What a surprising turn of events that two of the biggest names in the running back free agent situation just happen to get signed on the same day. Maybe it's just it's just like a preseason scheduling situation.
That's a beard scratcher.
This Monday just happens to be one of those things.
It's a beard scratcher for sure.
We'll
dig into it. Yes, and the running backs are communicating. So maybe they are communicating. Zeke wanted somewhere in the vicinity, 2.5, 3 million range of Dalvin Cook. So that could be it too. They're working together now since no one else can help them. Now, again, El Fuego, much love. He's second place on the overall board, but Cash App leader right now. So as where was I at? Junior Fajoko, I talked about him. Mike McCarthy judging himself. He's feeling that, no issue with communications, but still has a lot of work to do for McCarthy judging himself. Now, what about the starters? This is a big topic of conversation. We're not going to take too long on this, but McCarthy was asked, not playing Dak Prescott, not playing the stars and some of the other veterans in the preseason. Is that based on McCarthy's? That's again, they're assuming that was based on McCarthy's experience, but how strongly. Not only is his experience there, but how strongly he feels about the roster and how it helps developing the younger players on the roster. So you get to sit your veterans, your star players. You don't get hurt, but you're developing the younger guys in game-like situations. And McCarthy basically is very confident on what this is the way they're going about doing this. He feels that he's all in on keeping his stars and his starters as healthy as possible. Let them get the training camp practice. Listen, the offense when healthy, we just talked about how good they look, they could be. The defense, we know how good they are. It's a great test, more in practice than maybe against Jacksonville.
Yeah.
In a hitting situation where you got people sometimes maybe taking cheap shots, right? So, look, I don't mind McCarthy's mindset of not playing the starters. What is one drive? I want to ask everybody, what is one drive going to do for Dak Prescott, for rushing Zach Martin on the field in the final game of the year? You know what I'm saying? The final game of the preseason.
Yeah, if that one singular drive is going to make that much of a difference.
We got bigger problems.
Yeah, that's like concerning.
Yeah, McCarthy said he was confident that the way that the Cowboys are handling this and these practices compared to the games will have the starters 100% ready for Week 1 against the New York Giants. I'd rather have us look good and play better on that first week while everyone's still getting rusty. We might be in a little bit better gear there, even if we may start out a little bit for a second. I still think we'll catch up faster than anybody than most teams, and because we do have everybody healthy at the same time going forward, starting off the season like that. That's, I'm knocking on wood, that's the hope. So I don't mind it. I'm not saying I wouldn't mind seeing Dak and the offense get a couple reps every game or something like that, but to me, I understand McCarthy's mindset on here. One injury can end your season. So now, McCarthy was also asked, what if Dak Prescott went up to McCarthy and said, hey, I wanted to get some work in this game?
Yeah.
Which might have already happened. McCarthy said, quote, there's a lot more that goes into that. I've been through it with Aaron Rodgers, but we have a plan. And how it went last week, I was very pleased with the way it's going, with the way it went. So that's why these two practices on Tuesday and Wednesday are very important. So again, tomorrow's practice in pads, Wednesday's practice in pads, maybe the most important practices of training camp. The final two in Oxnard, but I'm talking about even going back to Dallas.
Yeah.
So keep that in mind. It's interesting to see that there. McCarthy giving us a little insight about the way the Cowboys are going forward here in these practices. None of the starters are playing, guys. So in the games, but in the practices, they're going all out with the starters. McCarthy said this about Mozzie Smith, and we're going to pop him up here because Mozzie Smith was a topic of conversation today. Should have probably had him on the thumbnail tonight because he is kind of a little more important than I should have given credit for. But Mozzie Smith was spoken about by Mike McCarthy. And McCarthy basically said this about his game on Saturday against Jacksonville. Quote, I thought he did some really powerful things, but he had some ups and some downs. And again, we can tell you the downs. I'll tell you what they were, guys. The pass rushing side, we can all agree, a little lackluster on pass rushing. And a couple of times on short yardage stuff, he got pushed back a little bit. That's it. I mean, outside of that, we discussed this. This man was taking on double teams. Why do you think Damone Clark was leading with tackles? Why do you think Marquise Bell was leading with tackles in the first half, helping with Damone Clark? Why do you think we had Overshown getting in there and making that third down and 1 yard stop? Because of number 58, Mozzie Smith, taking on 2 blockers and not letting those offensive linemen shed Mozzie and go to the second level. Why couldn't they shed him? Because he was too much, too many issues going forward with the power. You got to knock them back so they can go to the next level. They didn't knock them back. You don't get to the next level in time, and then the linebackers make the plays. And that's where you see the stats hitting up on the board. It's not Mozzie's tackles. But Mozzie did a lot of good things there. The short yardage thing getting pushed back once or twice, okay, that'll come, I think, young man. And I think pass rush will come, I think, later on in this season, let's say. Maybe the beginning of next year, he'll be more of a pass rushing threat. That's it. I think that's truly the way Mike McCarthy would break it down. That's the way I broke it down. That's my opinion. So he did make a comment, one last comment, Mike McCarthy, on Jalen Tolbert.
Okay.
Another offensive player here. At the receiver spot who got his touchdown. Remember that, but I don't want to talk about touchdown. McCarthy was asked about the offensive pass interference. Do you remember that play? Mm-hmm. When he went up and made a great play, kept his feet in bounds, but they called him for offensive pass interference. It was
hard to forget because, again, we pointed out, of course it sucks to see that penalty, but we still give him a lot of credit for making such a tough pass.
And there was a play earlier in the game that actually had the Jaguars obviously pushing off, and they didn't call anything.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah. You were yelling at the TV.
So I don't understand. But okay, look, McCarthy actually kind of said this about this offensive pass interference without getting fined. Okay. He actually made a joke because he'd get fined if he talks about the refs. He said, quote, it was a plus play for JT, Jalen Tolbert, in our evaluation room, not a negative play. It was in our standards category. No disrespect to anyone now. I don't want to get fined. So
I guess we're gonna have to bring back the old "I'm just here so I don't get fined." Huh?
Yeah. He snuck out of that one without getting fined, but he's just basically saying for him it was a positive play. They basically said "fuck you, refs." That was not a flag, but we like what we saw. That's a plus for us on our grading scale. So Tolbert had a great game according to McCarthy. And if you watch that play on that offensive pass interference by number 18, he won on the release. Long before the ball was thrown, defensive back had no chance, and it was the best throw of the night for Will Grier. So that was a great throw by Will Grier. Tolbert, great adjustment. And again, I think at that point, guys, that was the only place he put it, the only place where Tolbert could even make a play for the ball, right, without endangering the ball.
And again, Tolbert definitely stepped up to that challenge.
Tolbert had great body control. He had great focus. He tapped his feet in bounds, sideline awareness. Did a great play there. That's why it's a positive play. The offensive pass interference, if it was even there, it did not create the great play. It did not create the great catch, the great awareness, the great focus and body control. That was, whether it's a flag or not, that's what they saw, the Cowboys, and that's what you got to mark down as a plus. Of course, you don't want to pass interference. But the way that McCarthy spoke on it, it was more about a bad call by the freaking refs. So the last thing McCarthy said before the practice, and I'll tell you what happened in practice real quick, with a little video I haven't released, but if you were watching this press conference, I mean, there was people yelling in this press conference the entire time. It was very annoying. You can barely hear the question or McCarthy. But all of a sudden, over the loudspeakers, a song by Rat, all right, in the weight room came on, Round and Round. All right, it drowned out Mike McCarthy at the podium, and then McCarthy's like, "I guess that's my walk-off music," and he was kind of joking. It was a couple more questions, then he finally was done. But he eventually then got off off the podium there and got onto the field. Where, and I'm going to knock off here, Mr. McCarthy. Thank you, McCarthy. I'm going to put a little video here for you guys to enjoy in a moment. But the Cowboys had a walkthrough today. In fact, it was a very short walkthrough. They changed the time from 11 to 10. They changed it to a walkthrough day. And tomorrow, Tuesday, Wednesday, they're going to have the padded day for the fans to go crazy in there. So, again, I want to reiterate, when you look at the practice field today, no sign of Nashawn Wright. No sign of Malik Jefferson.
All right.
We assume this, though, based on what McCarthy said, right? Nothing concrete on either guy, but Malik has a chance to play. Malik Jefferson, Nashawn Wright, probably a hard press to go. So the Cowboys had a short walkthrough, 2 days off from the game, and they're going to have, again, the padded practices tomorrow. What was on the field that was pretty interesting, guys? I love to see this. This is one of those things I just love. So what do you guys think about this? Check it out. That's Mozzie Smith on the left, and that's Micah Parsons on the right with some, just some basic arm movement drills here practicing. It's really about, it's almost like that game you got to kind of see where the person's going to do the opposite. It's almost like he's doing it. He's trying to go either low, high on left and right side.
At first I thought they were just playing like patty cake.
Oh no, this ain't no game. Micah Parsons is being a leader, investing in his teammates right here, and Mozzie's picking up and trying to learn everything Micah's got. Micah and Mozzie were getting some post-practice teaching. This is after practice. They're out there doing this. That's Micah Parsons, defensive leader, team leader with the rest. Mozzie was getting advice on his handwork after this mock game walkthrough. Much love there. Calvin Richard dropping that J-Lou $2 holler.
Thank you, Calvin.
What did the man say?
He said, our depth is going to be awesome.
On defense, yes. On a lot of offensive spots, yes. Unfortunately, not offensive line.
Look, like I said, with basically only 2 exceptions, our entire team is very solid at starters and pretty freaking solid when it comes to the depth. Yeah, look, you lose more than one starter at any position, depending on, the position. Obviously, there's only one starting quarterback type of thing, but you're going to have a bad time. You know what I mean? We can afford to lose maybe Trayvon Diggs or Gilmore, but we can't afford to lose both of them at the same time. Right? Exactly. At that point, losing 2 major starters at any position completely makes your depth almost irrelevant, because at that point you're fucked.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? So, no way 2 backups are going to be able to hang the way 2 starters were able to hang. Doesn't matter who you have as backups.
Agree. And look, when you lose a certain time, you lose so many people, there's nothing you can do about it at that point. But we're not going to wood. None of that happens.
But yeah, outside of that, if we just one guy we can handle. So pretty much every position. Back to you.
No, so just look, finishing this up, you watching them there, great, getting advice on his handwork. This rookie, again, I love what Mike is doing as a leader. I love what Mozzie's doing to find, get as much advancement learning, whatever he can do to up his game as fast as possible through Micah Parsons. So I love it. And look, Aiden Dirty, who is the defensive line coach, all right, spoke a little bit today. He was not worried about Mozzie Smith. He seemed surprised by the negative comments about Mozzie kind of being a bust and all this stuff. I'm surprised people are saying that. He said that Mozzie Smith is playing with a very good power, handling double teams very well. It was just his first game last week, and they expect him to improve playing Seattle. Just that quick of an improvement against Seattle. So to me, I'm not worried at all about Mozzie. I think he had a pretty damn good game. I think it was, again, preseason, but he was going against starters in the first quarter. And, again, I just love the fact that he has that power. He was not getting pushed around the field. We know Dontari Poe days. He was getting pushed all over the damn field. So Aiden Dirty, the defensive line coach, was surprised about the negative thoughts and the negative kind of, descriptions of what his play was looking like. It's people looking for the stats. He didn't have any sacks. It's like, oh, he sucks. That's the fans that just they don't watch MCF. All right. So, look, finishing up this video, I'm going to let this run out here. Seth Green, number 48, makes the catch there. At the end of this thing, they're kind of joking around. The camaraderie is fantastic, but he's still learning. He's still taking a look. They're lining up like he's going to pass rush. He's trying to teach him how to use those hands, and there he is doing it. Not just after doing the hand-eye coordination stuff for a minute. It was also then enacting that and putting it on him as a pass rusher. And you saw Mozzie with the hands. He's going to get faster. These are techniques he's going to learn. I love this from Micah. I love that Mozzie wants to get there as fast as possible. And, hey, I just told you guys, this is also run-stopping abilities here, right? But he has to take 2 blockers. He's not going to be able to make these moves. This is about pass rushing. And that's what I said was one of his weaknesses coming in from Michigan to Dallas. One of his weaknesses in this game. So he wants to get that pass rush shit going. He's kind of like guessing. See, he's not telling where he's going with the hands. And he's just doing this by just looking at Micah's face. Mozzie's just trying to...
Just say, again, you have to almost instinctively react to it. And that's the only way to do that is just to kind of...
Now he's going to pull it. Now here's the rush. Boom. Move the hands. So again...
And look how much smoother that was.
Yeah, exactly. Too. It's like he did it immediately. It's like you're really working out your brain for this. Micah's learned. Mozzie is about to learn.
You also have to imagine that because Micah has also had a bit of an unconventional learning
the move from
when
linebacker
it comes to the D-line, that he might have a different perspective on it. So as far as like the teaching of it, like he can look to Mozzie and say like, look, like, I know how you guys usually learn it is by calling it the Doodle Bop 3000 or whatever, but I'm over here, I do this, and that. Yeah. It's the same thing. But, like, I don't know. I'm just saying that that's, like, that kind of fresh perspective or whatever is going on there, you know.
Love it.
I do have to admit, this was definitely one of the highlights, outside of Zach Martin, of course. This was definitely one of the highlights of today.
I thought you guys. I thought the family would love to see a little bit of that. Now, baby, Marco Seppian here from Hawaii, dropping that 5 on it. The knowledge getting passed on here, baby. What did the man have to say, Mr. Marco Seppian?
He said, "Any rumors, another guard that might be released for us to nab? I was afraid with the ZACK signing that Mr. Clown will think that the O-line is fine, but we got zero depth."
I think that old Jerry's going to think that the offensive line is fine. He thinks this. He knows there's no. I think the key here, Mark, is Mike McCarthy knows it's not fine, and the fact that he's preparing. And I said this. I don't know if Mark was here for that portion of this of our discussion, but Mike McCarthy wants the quarterbacks to get rid of that ball under 2.5 seconds. Both Will Grier and Cooper Rush had thrown the ball in 2.1 and 2.3 seconds. That is fantastic. That's top 10, by the way, in releasing the ball in preseason so far. Top 10, 2 guys from the Cowboys. This is not just about a player doing it. This is about the scheme calling for you to do this because you're protecting against a broken offensive line, which is exactly what we had 5 guys worth. If we have 1 guy's worth out of the other 4 very good blockers around him, it's not going to be as bad. But Dak will be trained. The offense will be trained for the quick boom boom passes already. We're hoping week 1, 2, 3, we hopefully have everybody in, knocking on wood, on offensive line. And if we keep with that, almost like the muscle memory we just saw with Micah Parsons and Mozzie. It's like if Dak's constantly, and the players and the receivers, they know the ball's going to be out quick. By 3 weeks, we're going to be ready to be good to go. So when another lineman has to come in there because Tyron Smith went out, it's not going to be great. It's going to be the weak link, obviously, but I think McCarthy has a plan in place to help that as much as possible. And I've been saying this for a while, by the way. This is kind of confirming it. What can McCarthy do, though, to go pick up one of these guys? I think that Jerry Jones, and it's probably right. At this point, Mark, there's nobody out there. Justin Pugh, is he still out there? The Cowboys, whether it's Mike McCarthy, Will McClay, Jerry Stephen Jones, they probably say he's almost like Farniok, Justin Pugh right now. So we're going to stick with Farniok, our guy. That's what the way. And you can say a very simple word here, baby, about that. 2 words, I guess you could say.
I was just about to say, I'm like
clown show. Clown show.
That's
the way they think.
Clown show behavior, and again, that's why I said that outside of O-line and tight end, we have fantastic starters, amazing depth.
Starters,
I mean, you can't. I'm just saying, like.
Well, we have good depth at tight end, not at running back. I guess you could say.
Look, the tight end one is different for me, just because I feel like it's in a weird, like I said, it's in a weird bit of a bubble, right? Like, there's obviously the question of who is the starter. 2, even if one of these guys is a starter, that is a huge drop off in talent as of now, until one of these guys goes out there and proves otherwise. 3, yes, when it comes to the depth, it's similar to the starter situation. Like, our depth isn't exactly great. It's not bad, but it's more of just average. And it's more about the implications of if one of these guys goes down, it just means that scheme-wise, we just can't do as many other things that we do.
Right. But you can still get the core of the base. You still have that. I see.
So, by the way, yes, thank you,
Australian Aztec in the house.
With his Australian $2 holler, always appreciated.
Much love. He's 7th on the board.
He gave a big thumbs up for number 31. And he said hello to my Cowboys family. So, thank you, Aztec. Appreciate you. Much
thank
love.
You, Az. Appreciate you. Go Cowboys, Aztec. Go
said
Cowboys.
Oi, oi. Ooh, so anyway.
I'm getting up on the board. I'm getting on the board.
Just kind of rolling back to my thoughts on the depth. Like I said, the depth at tight end, like you said, yes, maybe the drop-off isn't as big because most of these guys are basically interchangeable. You can tell the difference out there on the field, very little exception as of now. Right, because things are still. But
that's the thing. They're all though really good. Like we have 5 good tight ends, but they're no real starter 100% we can trust yet. I think it's about the trust, right? So is it going to be Schoonmaker eventually? Sure, it probably will be. Will it be Ferguson this year? Definitely.
I know
starting this year.
And a big problem for that is that a lot of that trust will have to come in game time scenarios.
Correct. Gotta watch and learn.
We won't know until we see some of it in action. But I guess, place your bets on who your personal favorite is now. I mean, again, I think the janitor is definitely the current darling
because he was picked.
Because of his draft pick position.
I think Ferguson is the athletic guy.
Ferguson sees the opening there, and he's going for it. So McEwen is just kind of there.
I was going to say, Jake Ferguson, he caught 30 out of 33 targets between preseason and last year, the regular season last year, and the postseason, and this preseason. I'm just saying, out of 33 times he got the ball thrown to him in a game situation, he caught 30 of them. 0 drops. Jake Ferguson is no joke, I'm just saying, no drops, 33 targets. The 3 were just bad passes, maybe by Dak or something, in preseason. Cooper Rush threw a bet. I'm just saying the targets. When they hit his hands, he caught the ball. He didn't drop it. Ferguson is a reliable receiver and a pretty decent blocker. Schoonmaker is a very good blocker and a pretty decent receiver. So I think they both work as starters for our team. Uh-oh.
And mahalo again.
Mark Hovsepian in the house. What did the man say?
Oh, he said, I get backups are never as good as your starters, but this group of backups is so bad.
I agree.
Consider Farniok is the best of the bunch, and that's a clown show.
I'm telling you, Farniok, Let's Austin Richards, the rookie. That's the best 3 right now starting off. I'm hearing Richards is the biggest winner of them off of this game. He did do very well. He allowed only 2 pressures, but again, I will say he did go up against the starters of Jacksonville, but we can't just base this on one preseason game for him. I've seen him screw up in the training camp practices against a better defense called the Dallas Cowboy defense. So we'll see how this, kind of goes on. Now, Mark, much love. By the way, Jason Renfro got that. I got to say that. It's a Zach Martin 70 on the stream, boss. And as we roll on, I know that you have
some Zach Martin representation.
I know you have some quotes coming up here from a couple of defensive players, DeMarcus Lawrence and who else? Oh, yeah, rookie Eric Scott Jr. We'll talk about them in a minute. But first, I know that I just saw it come up on my side of things. Maybe Mark Hovsepian.
Yeah.
Dropping that 5 on it.
He did drop another $5 holler. Should be going through here any second. But much love, Mark. He said, everyone was saying how good Ferguson was. And now we draft another tight end who is a reach while not drafting an O-lineman in a huge position of need.
I'm not gonna. Look, you know how I feel, Mark. I am with you on Osiris Torrance. We should have probably went on with him. I'm trying to tell you. I think the way the Cowboys see someone like Schoonmaker is that he is not going to be replacing Ferguson's attributes. He is there to what's the word? He's there to complement
okay.
Jake Ferguson's attributes. I just said it, right? You heard me say Ferguson is a better receiver, it seems like, than Schoonmaker, but they're both good, but Ferguson's better. And at blocking, Ferguson's a good blocker, but Schoonmaker's a better blocker. The Cowboys want to use, let me explain. I think this is what they're going to go to a little more often than you think. They're going to eventually, I think, go to a lot of 2 tight end personnel. They're going to have both tight ends in the game, and Ferguson might be playing as a receiver-like player, and Schoonmaker would be that help that you wanted from that offensive lineman. I know we're using
pick up some of those blocks.
Exactly, the blitzes. He'll be out there. We don't have a fullback. That's what I'm telling you. That's what McCarthy has to me, kind of given a glimpse of verbally. We have to wait to see Schoonmaker, I think, with the number ones in a couple more weeks from now. Let's revisit this. But I hear you. I think initially it should have been Osiris Torrance, but whatever the Cowboys wanted to do, and that's Mike McCarthy, wanted to use another tight end in his scheme, I think that's what he wanted. Ferguson was never to be replaced. It was about the usage. It has to start off, Ferguson starts because of the foot thing. Ferguson's going to be the quote-unquote starter, but they're both kind of going to be starters. Like the way that you have, sometimes you're going to have 2 receivers in the game, no Gallup. That's because Schoonmaker is going to be there for him. So I think that changing piece for the Cowboys most of the time is going to be either Gallup or Schoonmaker. That is a starting piece for the Cowboys' viewage, the way that Mike McCarthy sees this thing. And in the scheme he's got, I hope it fits. That's what we're going to leave it at. But I'm trying to look at it from all sides here before I crucify the pick. Let's see how they get used. And now we're finally getting to see a little more. Schoonmaker had a great game blocking and had one catch. Seems to me more like a blocking type of guy that's versatile. As a tight end, moved all around the place. Anyway,
yes,
I've spoken enough.
And just me, Kathy. What's up? Hello and hi.
In the
And
house.
yes, I'm almost positive it was Skeptical Fan. I could be mistaken.
It was either Skeptical Fan, Jason Renfro, or Bobby Bottles. I don't know if it was it tonight.
And that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
I'm not sure
night,
if it was tonight. Then it was definitely Skeptical Fan. If it was another night, then not really sure.
It could
But
have been
either
any of those
way,
three.
huge shout out to whoever it was that did gift the membership or some of the memberships. So let me see here. Anyway, I was just about to read some little quotes that we had here, and I'm gonna just go ahead and read DeMarcus Lawrence's just because again he's not exactly the most vocal. Or not vocal, but he's not quite the chatterbox either. Like he gets, when he talks, he gets to the point.
The thing with him is usually, during this season, he usually talks a lot of crap, and I don't see him back it up all the time. I like when he's not talking too much. But since we're hearing from him today, baby, from after practice, we know that it was about Zach Martin. We heard about that part already.
Yeah.
What else did he say?
But as far as he was asking, what can this Cowboy defense be in 2023? He said, that's the thing. I don't think we're looking at what we can be. We already know what we can be. It's all about finishing the fact.
Agree.
So, and I like that. Like I said, I like that phrase. I like that mindset, that mentality. So, outside of that, like you kind of mentioned here, Mr. Scott also spoke, as in Eric Scott, of
rookie,
course.
guys, 6th rounder, more of a Quinnish kind of pick right there. But first, we got a drop from Mr. Mark Hovsepian-ish in the house with another 5 on it.
Ooh,
and now, officially, he does jump El Fuego. He jumps into 2nd place, jumping El Fuego on the overall board. What did Mr. Mark Hawaii Hovsepian have to say, baby?
He said, why use a number 2 pick why use a 2nd round pick for a guy who will be a part-timer, all while you have no true starter at guard and 0 depth? We have a good we have a good starter and a decent backup at tight end.
I agree, except for we have depth at tight end, so we could always run off of that. I think that the Cowboys, they don't see it that way. They see themselves as having, don't yell at me for this, Mark, 2 great guards, Zach Martin and Tyler Smith. That's what they've seen for this season. So this season they feel we're good. Tyron Smith at left tackle, Tyron Steele at right tackle, of course, Biadasz at center. That's what I think the Cowboys truly see, and they say that we're good. We don't have to worry about I think what they see is if they drafted Osiris Torrance, they're not getting a starter for this year. And for a 2nd round pick, that was not worth it to them. They had talked about that in the 1st round pick for a Bergeron from Syracuse. They were going to draft him, but they said you got an offensive lineman who's not going to be a starter. Now I agree, he's going to be great when he's jump in, and he's going to jump in there to replace Tyron Smith when he falls down. But the Cowboys never did anything outside of that draft, before or after, to solidify the depth at guard. The depth. So that's what I'm saying. They looked at him as a depth player or a Schoonmaker who's going to play. Schoonmaker to the Cowboys is going to play 60% of the season. 70% of the season. Let's just throw it out there. Any offensive, Osiris Torrance would have played 30 or 40% of the season. Do you understand why they went with... That's more of a reason why they went with tight end. He was going to be utilized more than Osiris Torrance as a starter, quote-unquote starter, right? He's not a starter. He would not be a starter this year.
Exactly.
So I'm just saying, that's the way the Cowboys handle it.
And for better or for worse, obviously, I do think that as of now, right? Like, we haven't seen Schoonmaker do anything or whatever, but as of now, I do think I would have preferred if the Cowboys had gone O-line in the 2nd round, but hey, we can't go back in time. We can only go forward.
And we did get, in the 6th round, we got Eric Scott Jr., number 37, who's having a great camp to me, guys. Don't get mad at me here. Eric Scott was a little step behind in this first game in his NFL career preseason against the Jacksonville Jaguars. So I think he needs a little more work on that field, and let's see him make that work, because he looked great in training camp. So what did he say, baby, after practice today?
So he said that, quote, I didn't like how anxious I was, as in, obviously, in this preseason game. He said, I think in the second half things slowed down, and I think for the second game, things should look a lot slower. In that first game, it was a little fast.
And that's my point. I think that he's just getting, he seemed he was a little out of his element in this first game. So, you just chalk it up to a rookie game for, first game ever for a rookie. And let's see how he does game 2 against Seattle on Saturday.
So, adding on there, he said, I feel like I'm getting back into the swing of being myself. Things are starting to slow down for me, which is good. I'm excited for round number 2. The anxiety was really coming from it being the first time that I'm playing in an NFL game. But now that I've got that out of the way, I know what to expect now. I've seen what the type of stage looks like before. So
yeah, he's played. I'm not worried about him being able to adjust to the NFL. Just it is a change from college to the NFL.
Yeah, so he also added in there, I like the intensity that we played with. Overall, as a defense, we came out there, had a little bit of energy. It could always be better, but I like the energy from that first game.
Trust me, guys, the defense will be hitting all cylinders week 1.
So, and you know what he said his goal was for this season? To make as many plays as I possibly can and minimize mistakes.
As long as he gets some snaps out there, which, is going to be his biggest hurdle to make it break into that, the cornerbacks, safeties. I mean, he's going to be facing a lot of. We got 4 good guys, 5 good guys in both positions. So he's like our 5th or 6th at corner right now. So Eric Scott, he's going to make a run at this thing. The Cowboys usually keep guys they draft. So probability is he at least gets better in this Seattle game. He's no problem to make the team. And he's a future cornerback for the Dallas Cowboys. Mark Hovsepian, another one. Much love to him in second place on the overall board. Skeptical in first. It's getting closer. What did the man say, Mr. Mark?
He said Smith's always injured.
I agree.
Farniok sucks. And our right tackle's coming off an injury. Zach's getting old. Biadish Biadish as a center is solid, but nothing great. The center talent is low.
I agree there. Again, the talent is low behind that. I do think that I can't speak for the Joneses. I'm trying to make sense of what they're thinking. And I think they're looking at the percentage. They're seeing Osiris Torrance. Even if Tyron Smith loses 5 or 6 games, how much does he play this season? Osiris Torrance. 40? Not even that. 30 or 40% of the season.
Schoonmaker sounds about right.
Schoonmaker, if healthy, plays is easy 60, 70% of the season. So that's my question mark. That's question mark. That's my question, comma, Mark. That's what I think McCarthy pushed. That's what sold Jerry Jones. What do you think about that? Just straight up on that mindset of, hey, this is, with player A, we're gonna use him 60 or 70% of the offense in this season in my plan. And the player B, should not see much of day of light there. Even if he plays a lot, he's still gonna get maybe 30 or 40% of the season on the. Who are you gonna spend that second round pick on? Which both guys do evolve, and every year you hoping that they become more part of the starting team. I think that McCarthy's seeing Schoonmaker being that, really more than Schoonmaker, the tight end position being the pick, than going for that guy who's going to give you a little bit less production on that field year 1. And there's no guarantee that Osiris Torrance would be ready to take over. That he might look like Farniok in his first year, right? So we just don't know. He's still a rookie, still a second round pick, and I'm just throwing it out there. We're not necessarily right about that either, but I'm in Mark's boat in the sense of I do agree that that would have been a better go, even with this mindset of the percentages here that I think McCarthy went with. So now, is that everybody that spoke for you, baby? Because really quick, I have a couple last little pointers, and then we're saying goodnight here on My Cowboys Family as we're wrapping it up. So get your last thoughts and your last drops of knowledge. If you guys want to drop the love, Jason Renfro got 55 LVE points, so you can do that too. Appreciate everybody in the house. We'll do the shout-outs in a moment, but baby, the one thing I want to remind people is that Dak Prescott or Will Grier or Cooper Rush, whoever your favorite team's quarterback is, I see real shit in the house, the Steeler quarterbacks, all those sucky guys. If your quarterback, listen to this, this is a fact. If your quarterback does not throw incompletions and does not throw interceptions in training camp practices, he's not trying hard enough. The idea in training camp is to figure it out, see what you can slice into or not, different kind of, chances you may take in practice are not going to be in the game.
Yeah, remember, some of those mistakes are, just naturally working through some of the questions that you still have as far as like, hey, what kind of plays do we want to run? Will this play work? Will this work?
Yeah.
Can this be done? You don't know till you try, right? Look at them trying.
And that is exactly what you do in training camp. So again, that's how you sharpen your craft. Iron sharpens iron, all the whole thing. You can't take that chance in a game if you never had that before, and you can't take that chance in a game if you haven't tried it before, right? You have to at least have the chance. You have to take the opportunity. You might get picked. You won't do it in the game, or at least make you think twice unless it's wide open. So I want to make sure. Somebody said about the personnel. I wanted to bring up an interesting personnel. This is just this first game. This is what I'm trying to say. It seemed a little vanilla. The Cowboys are playing from behind a little bit. This is crazy to me, though. This stat jumped out. The Cowboys were in 10 personnel. That means 1 running back and 0 tight ends, which means 4 wide receivers. 24.6% of the game this preseason. Just saying, about a fourth of our plays, we have 4 receivers and no tight ends. Interesting. We just talked about the tight ends, right? But I think this was more about the end of the game and kind of doing quick huddle stuff.
Yeah, doesn't sound like where'd they go?
I mean, just saying, to me, that's crazy. You know, the next closest team, the second team, we did it almost 25%. The Cleveland Browns were the second most used team that used this. We were at 25%. They were at 7.4%. Huge drop off there, meaning what are we doing with 4 receivers in so much? What do we think? Is this a West Coast offense? Really? What are we doing with the 4 receivers? I think it was mainly we did that later on. Again, I'm going to reiterate that later on in the game. Now, the last person I want to speak about here is Deuce Vaughn, guys. Again, I'll throw him up here. You see some practice footage here of number 42, Deuce. He's loose, dropping deuces on the Jaguars. But, you know, in our practice, of course, use him in a goal line, formation. You don't do this in this, right? You saw what the Cowboys did when we were in the goal line or right there in the 5-6 yard line. What did we do? We didn't go under center and try to pound it in. We tried to go in a shotgun. That's the only time I advocate for a pure shotgun there is in this scenario you're seeing the goal line situation for Deuce Vaughn. So this was not a good play that was stopped. But you can see Deuce then, you can see what he did in the practice as he's taking some hits. You saw what he did the other day. Listen to this, baby. Cowboys rookie running back Deuce Vaughn's in-game athleticism. Full display, not just in this training camp, but you'll see him come out of, you see him catch passes. You see him use that speed, the stature. He's 5'5", 176. And sometimes you just can't find him. Like, where is he? I don't know where he's. Oh, there he is. And he's gone. So, Deuce Vaughn, baby, his score, his IGA score, okay, which is basically measuring his athleticism, was 96.7. That's the highest among the entire Cowboy draft class. Deuce Vaughn was a 96.7. Demarion Overshown had a 94.7. Eric Scott at 85.0. Vilemi Fehoko, 81.4. Schoonmaker, 78.9. And Jalen Brooks, 78.4. So, just saying, guys, I mean, Deuce Vaughn, the in-game athleticism, insane. And that's why I said it. He has elite athleticism. A lot of people are out there saying, is he like Barry Sanders? I'm not going to dare say that. Or Emmitt Smith, hell no. But I'm going to say this. He definitely has some qualities, some traits that seem Barry Sanders-ish. You know, the shortness, the agility, the quick moves, the everything you want to go through. The guy is very hard to tackle and to pinpoint and to stop. So just want to throw that last little tidbit of information there about little man Deuce Vaughn. Now, baby, as we wrap this up, get the last comments, the last thoughts. Everybody must hit that like button right now. Hit the like, subscribe if you're new to the channel. We're at almost 26,000 family members and growing every day. Thank you on that side, everybody, the new G's, the OGs. But on top of that, we got to shout out some of the people here in a minute, like the people that dropped the love from above tonight. Dwayne Broussard, Skeptical Fan, Mark Hovsepian, Jangly Echoes, El Fuego, Calvin Richard, and Aztec. And in case you're wondering this week, right now, El Fuego is got that lead in the Cash app. El Fuego's burning it up right now with that Tony Pollard holler. And, he's right currently, El Fuego is El Leader right now. So much love to him. But the king of the Cash app, and you know why he's here, Snug X, who's also our sponsor of the week. Much love to the man with that plan. I know the plan. But he's repping that navy blue, silver, and star. Now, Jason Renfro got the other boards here, baby. He's got 55 points, LVE points on the Stream Boss, and he's currently our back-to-back, like our 90s Cowboys, gifting champion. So the champ there. Much love to Jason Renfro. The leader this week, though, you know who it is. We got a raffle coming around the corner here, guys. From this guy, Skeptical Fan. You probably got one of your memberships. You probably got it from him. If you don't know where he came from, so him, Jason Renfro. But Skeptical Fan is the all-time leader. Much love to Skeptical Fan, who currently is in the lead this week, try to reclaim his crown from Jason Renfro. Currently has it. Skeptical is winning 7-0 against everyone. So, baby, I give the shout-outs there. You give the shout-outs in the last comments.
Of course.
In that chat of ours tonight.
Now, real shit. Thanks for stopping by. Cactus G, much love, saying they needed to see more from the receivers than they did from the tight ends.
I think they started slow, but I agree. I think the tight ends showed their part. I think this game against Seattle got to attack the receivers a little more often. I agree with that. I'm down with that, Cactus.
Let me see. Frank Moore said, if Mike McCarthy's offense is fast-paced, up-tempo, could be a lot like Chip Kelly's was, and it didn't take teams long to figure out what he was doing.
Maybe so. I think that McCarthy is a little bit, I don't want to say advanced, but a lot of teams do West Coast. We have a little mix-up of the way I think this offense is being run, but yeah, we'll have to wait and see. Again, doesn't mean it's going to work just because we like the first couple of weeks of it, right? We got to see the long term, so we'll see.
So, kind of rolling through a few more comments here. Skeptical fan, much love always. Staying skeptical, saying, can coaches challenge passing interference calls? That's
a good question. I know they made a change on one of those challenges, but I don't know if that was one of them, if that was it. So trust me, we'll see it sooner or later, but maybe before the preseason is over, we'll hear about something going on somewhere saying, oh my goodness, they overturned that, but I haven't heard of it yet.
So, let me see. We have real shit in the house. Just me, Kathy, of course. Much love. SnugX. Guys, the sponsor of the week, the Cash App appearance. King, representing here. Of course, Mark Hovsepian, a huge mahalo to you, Mark. Let me see. Cactus, you said you don't like hearing D-Law talk about how he's going to make Danny Dimes his BI.
No, I like that part. It's just that it's more like it's a lot of hollow from him. Like the team does the good job, but he talks the crap and then gets like a tackle for loss. You know what I mean? That's my bigger issue with DeMarcus. DeMarcus Lawrence talks all this stuff. He's going to wreck the team, and then he gets a tackle the whole game, you know? While everybody else is eating and doing it. But he plays well. I'm just saying, like, he don't talk the level of his play. Like, his trash talk is way... he outpunts his play with his trash talk. Let me put it that way.
Mm-hmm. So, kind of rolling back here, continuing with the shout-outs. We have, let me see, Scorpio representing much love. Of course, Stephen White. El Fuego 2.0, Aztec, Jared Morrison. Let me see. Ice Tippler, much love. Thomas Garrett, the superior Garrett, Jared Morrison. So if Jared said wax on, wax off, Micah telling Mozzie.
Yeah, it looked like it.
Right? A few people actually made some Karate Kid jokes or references. So John Womack, 808 Cowboy.
Hey. Oh, by the way, Frank Moyer, I know he's an Eagle fan, but he's adding to the raffles here as well. We'll talk about that soon. Much love, Frank. Appreciate you and your love for the channel. I know you're not a Cowboy fan, but I respect your thoughts on things as well.
So,
even if you're an Eagle
Jumps
fan.
and Cowboys, much love. So, and Vavy, at least on my side, that's as far back as I can go. So
I did want to say one last thing, an update on the unfortunate death of Alec Collins, running back, former running back. It was a fatal crash that happened, and it occurred around 10:20 on Sunday night, August 13th. And just saying, guys,
really unfortunate.
He was on a motorcycle, Suzuki motorcycle, and according to investigators, at some point the Chevy driver proceeded to turn left. The car crossed eastbound lanes. The motorcycle struck the rear passenger side of the SUV. Impact caused the motorcyclist to enter the rear passenger side window of the Chevrolet and come to a final rest inside the car. The collision also caused the Chevy to rotate clockwise before finally arresting. They said that the motorcycle driver was pronounced deceased on the scene. The driver of the SUV remained on the scene and cooperated with the investigation. So, yeah, horrible. He got basically crashed and he went into the car where he died immediately. So
that's honestly
horrible.
That's very, very tragic.
Very tragic, and then it spun around as well. So I don't know how he was flung around. Horrible to hear, but again, we started the show with that. I just saw it now come up on my side. I wanted to share that with the family here before we. Unfortunately, not a good ending to this night, but had to update the family on this. So, anyways, guys, as we reset ourselves to from the realities, right? We're back here to the Cowboy world. Appreciate everybody here rocking with us. Truly can't do this without the family, baby. Why do we do this here on this channel each and every night on My Cowboys Family? Why do we do this?
It's that navy blue, that silver too, and that star over everything.
Win, lose, or draw, good, bad, or ugly here, you can see we rep that star over everything here on this channel for 6 years plus into our 7th season. Never forget the number one thing here on My Cowboys Family, here, now, and forever. As always, say it with us, say it loud. Never forget. Go Cowboys! Let's get that 6 and beyond. Guys, thank you for dropping the knowledge in the chat all night long. All night. Can't do this without you guys. That's what the MCF experience is about. Also, as I said earlier, the drops of love from above. Dwayne Broussard, Skeptical, Mark, Jangly, El Fuego, Calvin, Aztec. Thank you guys for your love, support tonight on the channel. Can't do this without that side as well. And appreciate everybody on the boards leading the way, trying to take the lead as we continue another week right here in MCF. As we drop out and clock out officially for the night, relock and reload for a show tomorrow. And, we're probably going to have to miss like a Wednesday, but we're going to be here talking tomorrow, and you're going to see the videos dropping from our next padded practice. Very important. One of the most important padded practices coming is Tuesday and Wednesday, so stay tuned for the videos dropping tomorrow afternoon. But, guys, as we get ready to drop out of here and come back tomorrow for another one, what do we got to do, baby, before we get on out of here for the night?
We got to drop the beat.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. The beat's been dropped, guys. A wrap right here, my Cowboys family. As we always say, baby, drop them if you got them. If you're in the membership and there's 120-something people in this membership, drop them if you got them, guys. Can't do this without your love and support. Thank you all so much. Rocking it here with us on the night. I won't even do my 5 is greater than 1 since Frank Moore is in the house. Out of respect for him. But you guys know the deal. Mathematics, you know how it goes. Guys,
You don't have to say it for it to be true.
of course, we all know it, right? Right, Frank? Much love to everybody. Before we clock it out of here, remember, there's another Cowboys chat in the books. Zach Martin back with Dallas in Oxnard. Back in Big D, but also not Zeke this time. Of course, he went to the Patriots. We talked about McCarthy's thoughts. We talked a lot about Ferguson, a little about Deuce, no pun intended. And had a great stream tonight, a great time with the family, guys. Join us tomorrow for more. Of course, check for all those videos dropping from practice from tomorrow right here on MCF, where it's always about that navy blue, that silver too, that star over everything. Never forget the number one thing right here on My Cowboys Family. Much love to everyone. We'll see you back here tomorrow for another one. Have a good night. Stay safe. Peace out. And never, ever forget, Go Cowboys!